Happy spooky Monday, my Mon family. The air's cold, the sky is gray, the vibes are very much boo, but make it cute. The pumpkin candles are burning, and the one coworker who's already in a full witch hat on teams. It's officially the week where everything feels a little bit off, but also a little bit softer. The lights flickering, your bank account probably moaning, and your peace hiding under a blanket. And if you're on your way to work right now, sip on your coffee, not your coworker's energy. And if traffic's testing your patience, that's your warm up. You're practicing, boundaries first. And honestly, I get it because spooky season doesn't always mean ghost costumes. Sometimes it's just your to do list chasing you around like, remember me? And even with all that noise, you showed up, and that's what Mon's about. So this week, light your candle, put your phone on do not disturb, and remind yourself your calm is your costume, and your boundaries are your magic and your peace. And that's the real spell. Now, let's get into today because we're going to be talking about something that's scarier than any haunted house.
This is Mon, still showing up.
Hosted by Politeness.
This Mon story is going to be a little bit on the longer side, but it's nice and juicy. And I want to hear your opinion on what you would do in this situation. And it's a really tough situation, and I did cut it a little bit short just because of timing, but I will share the full story later this week on my Instagram. She wanted this to remain anonymous, but the drama is not anonymous. So the story begins, this is her. The story begins when my husband, let's call him Omar, wanted to bring his brother Ronald from the Dominican Republic to live with us. Ronald was about to get his visa. Side note, I helped with that. When his father died, I provided my documentation so the case wouldn't get thrown out. Anyways, he gets his visa along with, two of his adult kids. Let's call him Lisa and Bobby. Omar told me it was just Ronald staying for 2 to 3 months, and she couldn't say anything because her sister stayed with them for about a year. And she said, that's fine that they can stay for a week, but after that, they're leaving, right? So she treated them great. She took Lisa to Ulta and spent $150 on makeup. I even gave all three of them money for their first date just to be kind. 10 days later, they're still in my house. Bobby, who's a DJ, started picking up gigs and even hung a poster in the room that they were staying at. That's when I knew they had no plans to leave. He's 23. He had a girlfriend in Brooklyn, and she had just had a baby. So I'm here thinking, why are you still here? By the 8th night, Lisa and Bobby's partners came over, and I tried to make conversation low key to see what's going on. I said to Lisa's boyfriend, "Oh, that's nice that your mom's letting Lisa stay at her home." He said they get along. So I thought they'll leave that night. Nope. On the 10th night, they're still there, and I was mad because she originally just thought that it was, Ronald, and that Omar, her husband, had lied to her. I had a conversation with him in the room, and he called his brother into my room to speak about the situation. I was like, I do not like being lied to. That is your brother. You're the one that has to speak to him. Don't get me involved. He called him to my room. Ronald went into the room and my husband started to say that I was asking why his kids haven't left yet. Omar put me in such a bad situation. I wasn't going to be intimidated by his brother, so I was honest, and I told him that Omar told me that it was just going to be for a week that his kids were staying. The brother said that Lisa's boyfriend is looking for an apartment and that Bobby had half his clothes already at his girlfriend's house in Brooklyn. I told him that Omar and I agreed that it was only him, that the situation in the US was not good. Side note, she said that because they were wasting a lot of food, they would make a lot of breakfast and not even eat it, and they wouldn't save the rest for the nighttime. Like, how are you going to waste juca? You can save it for dinner. Then they would fry 7 eggs, only to eat 4 and throw away the rest. And for dinner, they would make something else. That really bothered me because you know how expensive food is. Like, we don't get any food stamps in this house. Everything comes out of our pockets. Ronald said that he was leaving tomorrow. Um, and I said, I'm not kicking you out. And side note, his adult kids were not home. They stayed in Lawrence for the night. But anyways, in my mind, I'm like, okay, with them leaving. I'm about to have a baby and I don't want people in my house. Like, I want to come to bed, take a shit shower, and go home to bed. I checked my phone and I got several messages from Lisa. She sent me like 5 voice messages saying, if you didn't want us there, you shouldn't have accepted us, and put up a front like a hypocrite because bad people like that won't accomplish anything. Like, ma'am, I have accomplished more than a lot of people in my 33 years of life. But anyways, I didn't reply. I didn't want to argue. Y'all, what would you guys do in this situation? And Bobby left to his girlfriend's house, and Ronald and Lisa went to his brother-in-law's house in Lawrence. His brother-in-law lives in an apartment with his wife and 2 small kids. And not even days later, Ronald's brother-in-law found him a job as an electrician. Okay, so I mean, essentially it all worked out. Um, and then Ronald told Omar that he was staying in the living room and he was uncomfortable and supposedly not okay. So Omar was like, do you want me to pick you up? I know this because he told my mom this. I told Omar that I don't want anyone at my house. He needs to stay where he's at. Omar's too kind. He feels like he needs to save his brother. Omar has another brother that lives in New Jersey, so why doesn't Ronald help him? I told Omar that he has a responsibility with us. Yes, we are about to have 3 kids. We do not need to be feeding another mouth, especially when I know that the other mouth's not going to want to contribute here. They never liked me, and I'm okay with that. Am I wrong for this? I know damn well that he just wants to take advantage of Omar's good heart. On that note, I told Omar that if he ever tried to bring his brother back, I was going to kick both his brother and him out. I not want anyone in my house, and I do not regret anything I said or did, because if I would have kept my mouth shut, all 3 of them would have been here. Now that is a mom story. And this is why I always say peace over politeness, regardless of who it is. Because sometimes the people draining you aren't even evil, they're just comfortable, right? And you don't have to curse anybody out like she did. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to stop letting people confuse your kindness for weakness. Because once they see you stay quiet, they'll continue frying eggs until Easter and wasting your food, especially in this economy. And when you finally speak up, they'll say, oh, you changed. No, maybe I woke up. So if you needed a Halloween reminder this week, sometimes the real ghosts aren't the ones in costumes. They're the ones who overstay they're welcome and drain your peace. People will take advantage of your kindness. And I'm glad that you stood up for your husband. And you know what? At the end of the day, if the roles were reversed, his family probably would have been kicked you out on the second day. So you did the right thing. You were pregnant. And the whole thing in my head was you they were wasting eggs while you had an egg in the oven. Now, after reading that Mon story, you ever notice how peace is expensive? Because, chaos, it's always on bongo. And if you know about bongo, is buy one problem, you get another one free. Okay? Like how you walk into my life with drama and a +1. The way that some people enter your world, like they just came with a coupon code for confusion. But peace don't go on sale. You got to pay full price in boundaries and in healing. And to put it in, more of a understandable analogy, peace is like your phone battery. It's never the big apps that are draining you. It's the sneaky ones running in the background, acting all innocent while stealing your energy. And that's people too. They'll smile in your face while they're quietly pulling on your spirit. And then when you crash, they go, wow, what happened? Girl, You happened. So this season, I'm on low power mode for anything that doesn't align. And that's why I always say protect your peace at all costs. Here's the science behind it. Your amygdala, the tiny little, alarm system in your brain, can tell the difference between chaos and change. So when your life finally gets calm, your body's like, wait, nobody's arguing, nobody's testing me. Is this like a setup? And that's why peace feels uncomfortable at first. Your nervous system, has been on caffeine and cortisol. And then you get so used to being on survival mode and you start treating your body like, it's a salary. But every no you whisper to chaos, your brain is learning safety again. That's not weakness. That's the neuroscience with boundaries. And let's be honest, some people don't love you, they love your availability. They miss the version of you that explained everything, that apologized for boundaries, that said, it's fine when you have tears in your throat. But the healed you charges a late fee for emotional labor. She's soft, but she's solid. She doesn't chase closure, she creates it. So if somebody this week or just in general says to you, you've changed, you can say, I did. My peace got promoted. Boundaries don't make you cold, they make you clear. And clarity, that's self respect in heels. And that gets me thinking, to the Bible because I'm always backing things up with Jesus. In John 4:1 says, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirit to see whether they come from God. That doesn't mean walk around guarded. It means listen before you label. Your spirit will literally recognize what your eyes can't see. Some people are confirmation, some are distractions, but if you stay there long enough, your peace will always tell you which it's which. And maybe you're thinking, what if it's hard? Listen, peace and ease are not the same thing. Something can be from God and still stretch you. Growth has pressure, purpose has weight. So don't run from it just because it's uncomfortable. Peace isn't the absence of challenge, it's the presence of clarity in the middle of it. When it's God, you still might cry, but you won't feel chaotic. There'll be this quiet peace underneath the noise, a little strength that says, keep going. This is right. When it's overthinking, it'll rush you, confuse you, and make you question what you already knew. So this week, whether it feels light or heavy, pay attention to your peace because God will never send confusion wrapped as connection. And when it's divine, you won't have to guess. Even if it's tough, your spirit will already know. Now, I want to leave you with some self-love affirmations for the end of the month. And I want you to say to yourself so we can bring new energy for the month of November. And also just as a self-love reminder to yourself. So say to yourself, as the month ends, I'm letting go of what drained me. I am not rushing the rest of the year. I am easing into peace. The same way the trees let go of their leaves, I'm releasing the version of myself that over explained, over apologized, and over gave. I don't need to prove I'm glowing. My peace is my proof. I am proud of the quiet progress no one saw but me. Even in the dark, I still show up glowing from within. The moon's out, the vibes are dramatic, and my peace, she's in a witness protection. and so should yours. Because let's be honest, some people don't need to be blocked. They just need to be booed. Like, boo, be gone respectfully. So if chaos comes knocking tonight, dressed like an apology, keep the lights off, pretend you're not home, okay? Now, before I vanish into the mist, you already know Mon merch just dropped. Hoodies, mugs, basically everything you need to ghost negativity in style. Yeah, I love this windbreaker. I literally wear it everywhere. So get your windbreaker. And it's like the best thing ever. It has pockets and it's super comfortable. And I just love it. And it's super chic. Like it makes me feel like I'm Kim Kardashian. And at 7 p.m. sharp, Mon 2.0 drops. I'll see you next time, same place, still showing up. Bye now.